Welcome to Tuesdays at 2 with the Coaches Console. It's Melinda here, and today's topic is all about, we're still on version 3. We've got the initial folks converting over to version 3 this week. We have a batch. In 2 more weeks, we've got another batch that's going to be rolling out, and that pattern will keep going for the next several weeks. And so today's topic is all about the 3 most important features to look out for when you're converting to version 3. There's 3 key areas that once you make that conversion, you want to check in on these things and just to put your eyes on them, to confirm them, to see, because there's a little tweaking that might be done because things look different in version 3. So I just want to kind of go through some of the top things to look out for once you make the conversion. And then we'll open it up for live Q&A time. So if you're on the webinar with me live, type in your questions into the webinar box. I'll see those and we'll bring them to today's training. And if you're listening into the recording, again, as always, we missed you. And if you have any questions while you're listening to the recording, then head to the Facebook group or the support center and post your questions there. And myself or Kate or our team will respond with the information that you're looking for. Okay, so I'll quickly list the 3 things, the 3 most important features to check in on when you convert to version 3. And then I'll just kind of go through each of those individually before we open it up to live Q&A time. So the first feature is about the website. When you're in the website, the free gift and the autoresponders. So whether you're using the free gift that comes with your Coaches Console system, or you've created a custom opt-in form for an existing website, you want to check in on that, and the autoresponders that go with that. We'll dive into that in just a second. The second thing you want to check in on is your calendar, the appointments that you have scheduled, the blocks of available time that are on your calendar, the synchronizing that's happening with your calendar if you have that set up. So we'll come back and visit that in more detail in just a second. And then the third thing is about the billing, the agreements that you've created, the products that you've created in your shopping cart, and a new feature, a dashboard in the billing area that just kind of gives you an overview and a summary of some of your billing activity. So those are the 3 key areas. The website, you want to check in on that. The appointments and available time and syncing, you want to check in on that. And the billing, the agreements and the products, you want to check in on that. So let's go take a look at each of these. And we'll dive into them. As you have questions, type those into the webinar boxes, and we'll have some fun with that. So in the website, one of the things that you want to check is your free gift and your autoresponders. Just making sure that you can locate that and you can locate the autoresponders that go along with that opt-in form. And the reason that I'm saying this is because it's going to look a little different. In fact, we're going to go through today and I'm going to show you what does it look like in version 2, and then what does it look like, the same thing, what does it look like in version 3 when you make that conversion. And this is the main reason why I'm telling you to check these out, because it's just going to, when you make that conversion to version 3, it's going to, it's just going to look a little different. So we're gonna do some back and forth and walk through that a little bit together as well. So with the website, if you are using Coaches Console as your marketing website, under the website module, under sidebar boxes, this looks a little different because here it's going to list any and all sidebar boxes that you've created, right? Now it's not going to look very different. So it's just real minimal. In fact, you may not even realize it, but I do want to point this out. So here's the default free gift opt-in on our homepage. I've created that here in this training account, and you can edit the content. You can add images and stuff like that. You can customize what is the content, what's the material that displays above the opt-in form that's on your website. So that's for those of you that are using Coaches Console as your marketing website. Now, the thing that's different is you get to customize what pages on your Coaches Console website this opt-in form displays on. That's the thing that I want you to check out. When you convert from version 2 to version 3, and we've talked about this in a number of different trainings related to version 3, in version 2, in the current version, when you create a sidebar box, it displays on every page of your website, every public page of your website. So when you have that opt-in form, it's on every page. Now you've got your opt-in form here. Now you have the ability, when you click on pages, you have the ability to go to each page and turn on or off different sidebar boxes. And one of the best examples is with this opt-in form. Let's say you have your welcome page. Let's say you also have a bio page. You know, on your home page, you're going to have that opt-in form, but on your bio page, I've labeled it Meet Your Coach. You might call it bio, right? You don't necessarily need the opt-in form on the bio page, because by the time a visitor gets to your bio page to learn more about you, they've already opted in. They've already downloaded your free gift more times than not. The majority of the people will have already opted in. The purpose of your bio page is to give them more evidence so that they can take the next step in actually booking a session with you, a sample session, a consultation. And so you want supporting action items on your bio page. So below the content, you can edit your sidebar boxes. And here's the free gift on your home page. We don't need that to be displayed on the bio page. So we can uncheck that so it does not display on the bio page. And again, because the purpose of your bio page, for example, is to get them to know you a little better so that you can deepen the know, like, and trust factor so they can book a session with you, a sample session. And so you want to have the ability for them to book a complimentary consultation and have some testimonials as well. You might also have some social media. You could turn that off as well. And so you want to check what sidebar boxes are on what pages, and specifically that opt-in form. Maybe you do want that opt-in form on every page. You can leave it exactly the way it is when you convert to version 3. Maybe you only want it on your welcome page. So you can leave that opt-in form. So we go below the content of our home page, and you can see here's that default home page opt-in. We've got that turned on. You can leave it turned on for any page. You can turn it off for pages that you don't want it displayed on. What's another example of another page? Maybe you've created a resources page. Some people do that. We teach to make that a private page, but let's say you have a resources page. Probably don't need an opt-in form on a resources page. They're going there to get your resources. They're not going to go there to opt in. So you can turn on and off that opt-in form when you convert over to version 3. So that's one of the first things that you want to look out for is confirming what pages of your website you want the opt-in form to show up on. Now that's for people that use the default opt-in form that we provide you from Coaches Console. You may have also created a custom opt-in form, and you can come here and you can put your eyes on that opt-in form wizard, the group, the autoresponder messages, the thank you page, and you can just make sure that everything is set exactly the way you want it, that your custom opt-in form is set up, and you can make changes once you convert over to version 3. Not that you have to, but you can make changes. And if you've placed this custom opt-in form in different parts of your website, whether it's your Coaches Console website or your existing website, you just want to make sure, is this in the most effective spot possible, and am I getting the results that I want? And if not, you can come here to the custom opt-in form, to the wizard, and you can make tweaks and adjustments. Now the wizard for the custom opt-in, it looks exactly the same for the free gift, for the version 2 or version 3. So it's the same wizard, all the same components in the wizard, okay? So that's the website, and that's the free gift opt-in forms. Now, with the custom opt-in forms, if you're creating a custom opt-in forms, and most of the time when you use this, you're using this you're creating a custom opt-in form to put on an existing external website, right? You don't use Coaches Console as your marketing website. You already have one created. You use that. So you create a custom opt-in form and you place that opt-in form on your website. If you're using the default opt-in form we've already built it in and integrated it into your Coaches Console system, again, that's found under sidebar boxes. It's the opt-in form. And if you want to check and confirm, or maybe even update your autoresponders when you convert to version 3, you'll find those under the Communicate tab. Under Communicate, Autoresponders, you'll find the opt-in autoresponders. When you're converting from version 2 to version 3, one of the things that I've been telling several of our members, it's a good time to just take stock in what do you have created for your free gift? What do you have created for your autoresponders? Are they working and are they effective? Meaning, are you adding contacts to your contact list? Are you getting sample sessions booked from your autoresponders? If you are, leave everything exactly the way it is. When you convert to version 3, there's nothing for you to do. If you're not, it's a good time when you make that conversion to version 3. It's just a good time to take stock in what do you have, what could you tweak, and how can you up-level it to be more effective. So it's another reason why I point out the free gift and the autoresponders for the website as one of the 3 most important features to look out for, because you want to make sure that's getting results for you. And if it's not, you need to tweak the free gift content and or the autoresponders slightly. Okay. All right, there's a couple of questions that have come in. So before I move to the next one, let's, oh my gosh, you guys are not seeing this. Great. That is just perfect. Hang on a second. Let me see. How do we get your screen unfrozen? Hang on, hang on, hang on. Everybody's like, phew, I thought it was me. Fran just said that. All right, guys, hang on. Let me get the webinar. Let me get GoToWebinar going. Hang on, hang on, hang on. All right, let's see here. And then we'll do a quick recap. You heard me, but now I want to make sure you see it. All right, let me try something here. Lynn says it is Mercury retrograde after all. No, you are not kidding, Lynn. All right, so I'm going to say this for everybody that's on the webinar with me. Stay with me. I'm going to try something. I'm going to click on something on my webinar panel. If I disconnect, just click right back in and I'll meet everybody right back here. I don't think it's going to do that, but if it does and you're like, wow, where'd everybody go? Just click on the webinar link and join right back in. We'll pick right up where we left off. But stick with me because I think, let me see if this works. So cross your fingers. Are you guys seeing me click on sidebar boxes? And now do you see me click on custom opt-in forms? Oh, yes. Now we're going in the right direction here. And let me just make sure. So now you see me click on sidebar boxes, and now you see me edit the free gift opt-in. Let me just make sure it's keeping up with me. You guys see that? Okay, let me do a quick recap just so you can see where I'm talking about. Even though you heard me, let me just do a quick recap. Okay, so when you come to version 3, the first feature that I want you to check out is the website and your free gift, either to take stock in how's it working for you, and also just to put your eyes on it in version 3 because there's going to be a different look and feel, and I want to make sure you're confident because that's kind of the entry point to your funnel is your free gift. And we want to make sure that you feel good and confident about that. So when you click on website, for those of you that are using Coaches Console as your website, you're going to go to sidebar boxes and you'll have one. You've already labeled it, whatever you labeled it. In this training account, I call it the free gift opt-in homepage. It may just be called the opt-in form. And you can just check to make sure, yep, that's what I want it to be. The title's good. You can add a graphic if you need to, any other text. So you can just check in on that to make sure that the way you've labeled the content above the form is exactly what you want it to be. And then again, for those of you that are using Coaches Console as your website and you're using that built-in default opt-in form, then under communicate and autoresponders, that's where you'll see your opt-in autoresponders. And you can just put your eyes on the messages that you have, the frequency. And again, this is a time to take inventory. Is this working for me? Are my autoresponders leading to people booking sample sessions? If not, you may want to tweak the content of your autoresponders so that it drives people to take action to click that link and book a sample session inside your autoresponder. Okay? Now, for those of you that have an existing website, your custom opt-in form that delivers the free gift is here under website, custom opt-in form. And you can find the opt-in form that you've created. You can rename it. You can look at the messages. When you click on the title, you'll see the opt-in wizard. I was explaining that this wizard, it's identical to what the opt-in form wizard, the custom opt-in form wizard is in version 2. There's no change in this. There's no change in the autoresponders or the thank you page. It's all still the same. Again, it's a good time to take a look at what are my autoresponders? What's the thank you page? Do I need to tweak any of that content to make it more effective so I'm getting better results? That's the first thing to put your eyes on, is the opt-in form for your free gift and autoresponders. And then the other point that I made is for those of you that are using Coaches Console as your marketing website, when you set up that sidebar box for the free gift, that opt-in form, right? So here's just kind of an example of what that opt-in form looks like. So you've got the name of the free gift, you've got a graphic that represents it, things like that. When somebody opts in, you can control and now customize where that opt-in form shows up on what pages. And so you can go inside the pages of your console system and you can choose where do you want your opt-in form to display. Ideally, it's going to be on your home or welcome page. And the example that I was walking you through is your bio page, for example. Meet Your Coach is what I have it called. Below any content, when you're editing a page, is the new section, Edit Sidebar Boxes. This is where, for example, here's that free gift opt-in form, and I have it turned off. I don't need my opt-in form on my bio page, so I've turned that off. But you can customize and you can turn on and off whatever sidebar boxes you want on every page. So when you convert to version 3, head to your website and just take a look at each page that you've created. Click on each page and ask yourself, what sidebar boxes do I want on each page? And again, that's for those of you that are using Coaches Console as your marketing website. Okay? All right, I think we are all still current. Let me do a quick check-in. For those of you that are on the webinar with me live, let's just confirm. You guys are seeing me click through everything, right? My screen's not stuck or the webinar's not doing funny things that I don't know about. Okay, good, good, good. You guys are seeing that. All right, great. Let's talk about the second feature to look out for and just to have a heads up about, and that's regarding the calendar. With the calendar, the two things that you want to, well, there's three things that, depending, definitely two and maybe a third for you. When you convert to version 3, again, because it has a different look and feel, you're scheduling appointments, you're making blocks of available time available on a regular basis. This is a big driver of your business, so I want you to feel confident about it. So when you convert to version 3, head to the calendar and just become familiar with the new look and feel. The functionality is the same. The location of the functionality is the same. The new appointment button, it's still in the middle. It's just orange and bigger. The available time button, it's still in the upper center of the screen, just a little bit bigger. And so the way the calendaring is set up, it's identical to the current version. I just want you to feel comfortable about the new look and feel. And you want to take a look at the appointments that you've created. And you can do that in two ways. You can come to the calendar module and look at a week. You could look at a week at a time. You could click on week and say, okay, let's look for this week. Is this, are these the appointments I have scheduled? Is this what I have going on? You can look a day at a time. You can look a month at a time, okay? And you can just scroll through and confirm that the appointments that are set on your calendar the blocks of available time. Everything is set up the way you want it to be. This is also a good time when you convert to version 3 to make sure that you have ample numbers of blocks of available time on your calendar. So when you convert to version 3, come to the calendar, click on available time, and make sure that you have plenty of blocks of available time set up for your contacts and prospects to schedule or reschedule sessions from, okay? The other way that you can check on your appointments and just confirm your appointments is going to contacts and looking at each of your clients. So when you click on the contacts tab and click on active clients, for each one, we'll just click on Helen Ramsey because we love her so much. For each one of your clients, remember that each of your clients have their appointments organized in their appointment file. And so you can see the listing. This particular client is in a group coaching program. She's participating in a teleclass that we do, and she's also doing private coaching. This is our ideal client, by the way. And you can just confirm when her private sessions are scheduled, the group or the teleclasses that she's in. You can just put your eyes on that to make sure everything is scheduled the way you want it with all of your clients. When you convert from version 2 to version 3, it's a good time to just make sure that everything is exactly the way you want it to be, or you might need to up-level or change or enhance some things to make it more effective or efficient. Okay? So you can do that with each of your clients. You can just take a look at the appointments for each of your clients to make sure they're exactly the way you want them to be. Okay, that's the second thing. Let me make sure that you guys can still see my screen. Hang on. Leona says, how can I create a login, username, and password for a client? You know, while we're here on the, I'll just talk about that. I'll answer that question really quickly, Leona. Let's say you have a prospect, for example, Adam Barker. And when you click on the profile for Adam Barker, if you want to turn this particular contact into an active client, first thing you do is you change their status to active. And then you'll see the username and the password fields appear. And to create a username and a password for a client, we recommend that you use their email because it's, you know, whatever their personal email address is, it's unique to them and it's easy for them to remember. And then for a password, to use a simple formula, because after the first time that somebody logs into your private website portal, they can change their password. They have a favorite password they use. So we recommend that you use their last name plus the month plus the year that they signed up. So it's just a simple formula you use for every client. So in this case, it's Barker, because that's the last name, and then the month and year that they signed up. So it's September, so 0915, Barker 0915. And then you would just retype that. And you would scroll down and click save and save that change, and that username and password would be applied. And then, of course, you can generate an email. You can go to the Communicate tab, or you can send an email to your client and send them their newly created username and password. Okay? And then once you click save, that person will be taken out of the prospects category and will be put into the active category. Okay, a couple more questions about scheduling. So let's go back to the calendar when we're talking about scheduling. Fran asked the question, I see color coding. Can I edit that? The color coding is it's default. There is a certain color for client appointments. There is a certain color for group appointments. There's a certain color for neither appointments. And then there is also certain color for the different types of blocks of available time, different shades of blue for the blocks of available time that you set up. So those are fixed. You can't change those colors, although that would be a lot of fun. They are fixed. So there's one color that's automatically assigned to client appointments, different color for groups, 4 different shades of blue for the different blocks of available time. And then you'll also see the third thing that I want to point out on the calendar is over here on the left, you see that in this particular training account, I have this synchronized with my Google account. And in my Google account, I have 3, 4, 5, 6 different calendars. This is kind of an extreme exaggeration, but I know many of you probably have multiple Google calendars that you work through. So this just represents, you might have several different Google calendars. I know one of our clients, she and her husband had one Google calendar that had all their family appointments, their kids' sporting events that they were involved in, any trips or travels or anything that their family was involved in. They had that, and then they had a separate business calendar in their Google. So any business trips or things conferences that the husband had to go to, it was on there. Any trips or conferences or event that the wife had to go to for work was on there. And that way they could see everything for their family and each other in their business. So, you might have multiple calendars. And so when you synchronize it, now in this particular example, I've got a couple that are you can see the color coding, and that's in Google. You can change the Google color coding if you want. But if I had appointments in any of these, like if I had business appointments, I don't have any in this particular Google account, but you would see red appointments with the red color code show up. Or if I had this family purple show up, you would see purple slots and purple color coding. I don't have any of those in this particular example, but you guys get the idea, right? So that's the color coding, Fran, and you can't change that in your console system, but that's what that means. Okay. Rosemary also asked a question about the calendar. Is there a way to repeat open appointment times for an entire day versus doing it one by one? Is there a way to repeat open appointment times? So you're talking about blocks of available time, I believe, Rosemary. Is that right? Blocks of available time? So let's say, for example, you're available every Thursday from 10 until 5. Is that right? Is that the example? Yep. Okay. So when you click on available time, you can do a block of available time. And let's just say we're going to do it for all contacts. If they're a client or a prospect booking a sample, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be in my office from 10 to 5 every Thursday. And if somebody wants to book, they can book. And so you can pick, let's go to Thursday. And we're going to be available from, from 10 to 5. So I'm going to scroll down until I find 5. And I could say available to book. I can make this title be whatever I want it to be. I can customize this. Whatever, right? And then you can repeat it right here, Rosemary. See this repeat box? When you click on the repeat box, you can now customize, okay, when do you want to repeat this? And you can say every week, I'm going to be available every Thursday through the end of October. And so you could set that up, or it could be 2 weeks, it could be once a month. It could be custom. You could say, I'm going to be available the first 3 Thursdays of the month. We're just going to say each week. You get the idea, Rosemary. We're going to say each week until the last Thursday of October. And I can click save, and it's going to confirm. I'm going to say schedule. And then when I click over to September, or from September to October, I can see here's my big block of available time. From 10 to 5. So anybody that wants to come in there and book, they can do so. Okay. So that's how you can do that, Rosemary. And Rosemary says, so I would need to title every Thursday on the top of the hour for 40-minute appointments. So I would need to title every Thursday on the top of the hour for 40-minute appointments. Now that's another option, Rosemary, that you can do. So what I just demonstrated, let me just edit this. What I just demonstrated is that this is from 10 to, it's one block. Let me show you what this block looks like. Hang on, let me open up another screen. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna have to tell me if you can see my screen. Hang on. All right, cross your fingers. So you guys should see, tell me that you see the website, our little training website template here. Do you guys see that? Okay, great. So when I click to schedule, let's say I'm a prospect that's going to schedule. When I click to schedule, it's going to show me that there is a big block available from 10 to 5. And as the visitor that comes to the website, I was like, wow, I can choose anything from 10 to 5, and I want to book my 40-minute session. and the person says, I want to start at 10:30. So if you set up one large block, like I just showed you, from 10 to 5, then the person scheduling has to identify the start time and the stop time of that appointment. Some people like it that way. That is not my preference. I do not like that. It is possible. And so the person comes and they fill in their first name, they fill in their last name, they fill in their email, they fill in their phone number, and then they choose, I want to start at 10:30. And they can choose start time and stop time. And then they can even say, hey, I want to cover this when we talk. I mean, they can even leave you a little message in the description, and they can schedule it. The person doing this, the person that comes to your website, whether it's a prospect or a client, they choose their start time, they choose their stop time when you have that big block from 10 to 5. My preference is, and what I would encourage each of you, but this is because I'm a control freak. I like my calendar to be nice and neat. I like to start on the top of the hours, and all my sessions are 40 minutes. I don't want to have my clients figure out the start time and stop time for that. And I like to make sure that I have 20 minutes in between sessions so that I can follow up with the session when I'm done with it. I can do my follow-up notes, and I can prepare for the next session before it starts at the top of the hour. So I like to build in that buffer. I want that kind of control. So what I would recommend is the block of available time. If you know you're going to be in the office, Rosemary, every Thursday, all day, I would do a block of available time. And it looks like you do 40-minute sessions. I would do the block of available time for 40 minutes at a time. And you can repeat that to say, this is going to be every Thursday until the last Thursday of October. So we'll start this the first Thursday of October, and we'll go to the last Thursday in October, and we'll save that, right? Actually, let me change it to Friday. I'm going to do Saturday so you guys can see it. Not that we would ever work on a Saturday, but let's just do it for this example. So we'll do a Saturday, we'll do the last Saturday of every month, and then you can click Save, schedule it. Let me just click over here to October. So here's the block of available time for the 10 o'clock slot. And then I would click on the available block, same process, every Thursday, starting at 11 o'clock until 11:40, right? So 40-minute sessions. And I'm going to do that every Thursday because I know I'm available every Thursday in October. So I click my dates and I click Save, and now we can see the 11 o'clock slot, right? And you just keep doing that. Actually, let me make that for Friday. Hang on. Because I'm nice and neat like that. Well, you guys get the idea. But I would do that for the top of the hour for every hour. And you would just keep repeating that. Give yourself a lunch break and say, you know what, we're going to do that again. Starting after lunch, we're going to come back at 1 o'clock to 1:40 because I do 40-minute sessions. And we're going to repeat that every week until the end of October. And you just keep clicking Save and Schedule, and it's going to add that to your calendar. You just repeat that process. So initially when you're scheduling it, it's going to take you a few minutes to set that up, but let me show you what it's going to do from the user's perspective. So let's just get one more in here. So 2 o'clock to 2:40. We'll repeat that every Saturday until the end of October. And we'll save that and schedule it. So now we see here's our time slots. Now when somebody comes to my calendar, let me just go to my calendar and refresh this page. So when somebody comes to my calendar to book a session, now they can see that, oh, here's my 10 o'clock session. Here's my 1 o'clock session. And here's my 2 o'clock session. And they can pick which ones are suited for them. So now they don't have to figure out the start time and stop time. They just enter their first name, last name, email, phone number, click schedule, and they're added to the calendar. So it's 2 different ways that you can work with available blocks. I personally recommend my way, but it's because it's my way and it's because I'm a control freak and I like to build in a cushion of time between each session. I like to be able to follow up after one call's done. I like to be able to prepare before another call's done. And I like my stuff starting either on the top hour or on the half hour. I don't want somebody saying, "Oh, let me come and show up at 10:45." Screws up my whole mindset. I don't like that. So that's why I recommend it. And it gives them the flexibility. Okay. Kitty says, as people schedule, the time users see disappears. Exactly, Kitty. So if I were to schedule something in the 1 o'clock slot, that's going to go away when prospects or clients view my available slots. That one would no longer display. It would not be. It's not available anymore, so it's not going to display anymore. They disappear automatically. Okay. Rosemary says, I want to control the time too. I was just trying to save typing time. Yeah, and initially, and we are working on something that allows you to set that up, so it's easier to schedule on the front end, but it takes just a few moments. You saw me go through it, starting, stopping, setting up those blocks of available time. But in the long run and in the end, it's a much easier experience for prospects and for clients, and it's a much cleaner experience for your schedule. Okay. Let's see here. Fran Fran says, what if you have two separate time lengths? Can you differentiate? Most likely, Fran, let me ask you this. The reason you have two different time lengths, what are they for? Is like one time, like give me the scenario. What are your two different times and who are those people for? So Fran says one is for a complimentary consultation and one is for networking and virtual coffee. Yeah, so the way that you would work that, Fran, is when you're setting up those blocks of available time. Um, let's say your complimentary, how long is your complimentary consultation? So when prospects come, they book a 50-minute slot. And then how long is your networking virtual coffee? 15 minutes. Okay. And so you would, with your the blocks of available time for your complimentary session, you would set up, you would choose the available slot for sample sessions and prospects, for example. You might, like we call ours a jumpstart consultation. So you could change the title of that. And you can set that up to be whatever, during 50 minutes you said it was. So you can set that up. You can choose whatever days and times you're available on that. Maybe you book sample sessions on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons is when you do your sample sessions, right? And so you can schedule those and you would use the category for sample sessions, okay? And then for your networking group, if it's like with my networking group, for example, under contacts, I've created a group. So I've created a group for my networking, like whatever the name of your networking group is. And if I have 40 people, like when I was in a networking group, there's 40 people that attended that and was part of that group. I had all 40 of those people entered in my console system as a prospect and organized into my networking group, the name of my networking group. So they were already in my console system. They were organized by that group. As a result, when you click on the calendar, what you would do, Fran, is you would click on the available time, and then you would set up a block of available time for a specific group. And you would choose your networking group wherever, whatever name that networking group is under. I didn't save it, but networking. There it is, networking group ABC. So anybody that's part of this group in your console system, they will see those 15-minute increments of time. Okay. And so you can set those up and you can say virtual coffee, for example, and you can set up those 15-minute increments. And maybe you do that in the mornings Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings between 8 and 11, you have those virtual slots, just as an example. So you can set up those virtual coffees for the people in that group. That way, when the members of that group go to your calendar, they will see those slots of time as being a part of that group. Okay. Fran says, asks the question, how do I send them to that choice? You just send them to your calendar. So your calendar link, you just send them to your calendar, and your console system recognizes that they're in that group. They're a name on your contact list in that group. And because you've set up this block of available time for a specific group, and you've identified the networking group by name, your console system knows if you have 50 people in this networking group, this group in your contact list, and you've grouped 50 people into that, it knows to display those appointment slots for those 50 people when they come to your calendar. It doesn't require a special link. Okay? Doesn't require a special link. It just they would see those blocks of time. Okay? Laura asked the question, the people have to be logged into her coach's console to see those group time slots. No, they don't. Because they're tagged in that group, when they view her calendar, they will see those networking group slots. Okay? So you just send them your regular calendar. And just as a reminder, if you need to send anybody your calendar link, one of the quick places that you can get it, when you go to website, go to settings, and here you'll always find the direct calendar to the direct link to your online calendar. Okay, you can just copy this. So Fran could just copy that and paste it into an email or something, and then the people would see those blocks of available time accordingly. Okay. Okay, so that's the second component, the second most important feature when you convert to version 3. Had a lot of great questions about that. Now let's talk about the third most important feature when you convert to version 3 that you want to put your eyes on. And there's a new feature here that I want to share with you. Most of this is the same. So the location is going to be the same. The functionality is going to be the same. It's just going to look and feel different. So again, it's around the topic of billing. The reason why it's one of the most important features is because the billing drives our money. We want to make sure that we feel confident about the money in our business, right? So when you go to billing, there's a couple of things to check. When you convert from version 2 to version 3, it's a good time to take inventory of what agreements you have, templates. These are the agreement templates. What agreement templates you have in place. Are they accurate? Are they up to date? Are they obsolete and you need to just clear them out because you haven't been using them for 3 years or 5 years or something, and you just need to clean and clear it out? Or do you need to add new templates? Do you need to adjust anything in your agreements? Do you need to increase your prices or anything like that? It's just a good time to take inventory of, how are my agreements? Is everything the way I want it to be in my agreement templates? And you can just click on any agreements, and you've got the new client agreement wizard, and you can just double check, is everything about my agreement options in place? The title of it, the duration, how much it is. Do I need to increase that amount? What are the invoicing options that I have? Do I have automated invoicing set up? What are the contract terms? You can review your contract and your agreement to make sure that it's still reflective of the work that you're delivering. Make sure it's current. The emails that are sent out, the proposal email that's sent out, everything good with that. The thank you page that's displayed when people agree to your agreement online, is that accurate? So it's just a good time to take inventory, in all of your agreement templates. Can you clear out obsolete ones? Is it time to update them and up-level the information inside each one of the agreements? So you want to put your eyes on the agreements. And you can do that here under billing and agreements. And then you can also, under contacts, each one of your active clients, let's just go back to Helen Ramsey, each one of your active clients has an agreement file. They always did. In version 2 they had it, they still have it in version 3. And you can click for each active client, make sure that, yep, this is the, we've got the agreement on file for them. Here's the start date. Here's the status. Like we can see here, there's one that's been sent, but nobody has accepted it. This might mean we need to get in touch with Helen and say, yo, what's up? And so you can see if it's been sent as a status or if it's been agreed. Okay. And you can do that for each of your clients. You can go through and you can see all the clients, what their coaching agreement is, when is it, when was it, what's the status, and so on and so forth. So you want to check your agreements with your clients, make sure they're current, and up-level them if you need to. And then under the shopping cart, the other thing that you want to put your eyes on are your products. As you've been creating products, over time, you start having a lot of products. And you can see here in this example, we've created a lot of products. Many of them, you see the check mark box is not selected under display to display it on my Coaches Console website. Maybe I need to archive those. And again, we can clean it up. Maybe we used to offer a jumpstart session, but we don't do that anymore. So I can archive that so that it's down below with archived products. So I still have that product if I need to revive it in the future, but it's not in my regular lineup of products, kind of confusing anything. Maybe we used to do a 4-week teleclass that we don't do anymore, and we can archive that. So it's just a nice time to take a look at what products you have. The summer coaching program, well, it's not summer anymore. We're officially into fall, so we can archive that until next season. And you can clean up the first quarter teleclass. We can archive that until next time. And you can just clean everything up so that your console system is current, it's effective, and it's really working for you. So put your eyes on your products. Check your products. Do they have the right information? When you click on any of your products, check the product wizard. Is the product name the way you want it? Is the pricing the way you want it? Is it time to increase that product price? Is there different content that you want participants to access? Maybe you've added new content. Do you need to enhance the autoresponders? Review the engagement process for those products, the onboarding and the engagement process for those products. And is it effective? Or do you need to up-level and update your autoresponders for a more effective client engagement strategy? Okay, so just kind of take stock in your products. And then when you're in billing, one of the new things, I quickly showed you this at the beginning of the session, under billing, there's a new dashboard. And this just allows you as a business owner to quickly see, okay, I've got 3 invoices that are due, and it's going to show me what are those due dates and who are those clients. And it's going to show me the invoice amount, and I can click on any one of these invoice numbers. It's going to take me to the file for that person, and it's going to show me the invoice history for that person. So I can see what's the transaction that's about to happen. So under billing, under dashboard, it's going to give you can see, are there any overdue invoices? Now in this training account, we create a lot of invoices. We don't necessarily pay a lot of invoices. So you see 94 overdue invoices. I hope your business never gets to that point. On occasion, you might have 1 or 2 overdue invoices, but it shouldn't be any more than that. But it's going to give you a heads up so that at any point in any month, you can say, whoa, I need to talk to Fred and Harry about making sure that they get their invoice in before the end of the month. So you can really stay on top of those money conversations by seeing in one place the overdue invoices, any upcoming invoices that are going to be processed in the upcoming days based on automated invoices and agreements, for example, you'll see that. And if there's agreements that you've sent out but have not been signed or accepted online, you can see. And so what this tells me in this particular training account, if this were a coach's real console system and I saw all of these agreements that were issued but not signed, there's a breakdown in that process for that coach from getting them in the sample session to having them sign that agreement. And I would look at that process for that coach saying, all of these should be signed in that sample session, if not by the next day at the very latest. So you should never have too many unsigned agreements listed here. So it's just a way to keep your eyes on your money and the elements in your console system that drive the money to your bank account. Okay. Barbara asked a question in talking about the agreements. So let's just go to one of the agreement templates. I'll just click on one, for example. She's talking about the contract terms, and Barbara says, if you delete a template agreement, does it delete the agreement from the client's file? If they have an agreement that they have signed and it's in the past, it will not delete that from the client's file. If you have any in process agreements, like if you have 3 clients that are in that agreement, you don't want to delete that. You want to wait until those clients are completed with that agreement before you do anything with it. Okay, that's a great question. So if you've got, like I said, you've got 3 clients and they've been assigned that 6-month coaching agreement, and a couple of those clients are at month 3 and another client's at month 4, wait until the end of that 6 months and until their agreement is completed, and then you can delete and clear out that template. Okay. B asked the question, if you modify an agreement template, will it affect agreements that are already in place? No, it will only affect agreements from that point forward. Okay, so when you modify a template, it will then impact when you assign that new version of that agreement from that point forward. Okay. And you'll see when you click on the settings menu for each of the agreement, you'll see copy. What I would recommend is if you have, let's say you have a corporate package agreement, copy that agreement, like duplicate it. You'll see it added. Here it is at the very bottom, and it says copy. And so I would keep your original one, and then I would update this with a new name, give this a new name, and it could just be, the month and the year that you issued it. Could be that you updated it, just a simple name agreement title change like that. You could update it that way, and then just click through the wizard, change anything if you need to change it, whatever you need to change, and you can just go through the wizard that way. Okay. Let's see here. Leona says, do you recommend to bill in arrear or prior to the start of a coaching program? I recommend that you bill beforehand. What ends up happening when you bill in arrears, you can certainly do that, and there might be times when that's appropriate. More times than not, what we see happening is you have this sense of chasing money because you've already delivered services, and now you're trying to get paid. And so there's this funny energy. You may not literally having to chase money, but there's a funny energy about you chasing your money. Then it just gets funky sometimes. And then there's the sense of your clients were like, well, she's already giving me this service, so I don't need to pay. That funky energy comes up or has the potential to come up. So we don't recommend it. We recommend that you pay or they pay for your services up front, and then you deliver the services that they just paid for. So you bill in advance. And so in your agreements, for example, under invoicing, if you do automated invoicing, bill in advance of delivering services. This is what you would check mark. Okay. Kitty asks, any chance you will be allowing billing through Square? I cannot promise that, Kitty. It is something that what I am promising you is that we are thoroughly looking into this. It's a request from so many people. We are thoroughly looking into this. And if it's something that we can do that benefits the greater community and the greater membership of the Coaches Console and the Coaches Console technology, and it's something that we integrate, we will do that. I cannot promise you that we will, but we are definitely giving it a very solid look. Okay. Let's see, a couple other questions. Can agreement templates be archived? They can't be archived, Susie. So when you click on agreements and you see agreement templates, it's not like products where you can archive them. What you can do is simply change the name. So rather than deleting them, like let's say that Unstoppable Coaching Program is something that we used to do a long time ago, but we don't do it anymore. But you might bring it back one day. And so what you could do is you could just change the name, and you could start it out by saying archive, right? And if you needed to make any other changes, you could, or you could just click save. And then it's going to have if you've got a few of them that are archived, you'll know which ones are archived because it says archive. So that's the way that I would handle that. Susie, that's a great question. Okay. Fran says, can we add a sales price to products in version 3? I think what you're talking about, Fran, is like a discount code. Like if somebody buys a product from you online, if they're using your shopping cart and they buy a product, can they use a discount code to get a discount? Yeah, that is what you're talking about. Okay. That will be coming. I don't know when that'll be coming. It won't be coming immediately with version 3. So when you convert, you will not see that yet. So just like always, if there's a sales price, then you would copy the product and create a duplicate product that reflects the sales price and give them that link to sign up for the sales price. Okay. Let's see, a few more other questions. We're going to sneak a few more in. Rosemary says, is it best to use PayPal? With your console system, you can use, under settings, you can set up PayPal, you can set up direct pay, authorize.net. I can't really answer that question, Rosemary. Is it best to use PayPal or direct pay? Some of that is going to depend on you and your business. It's going to depend on your type of ideal client and what are they used to. Are they used to paying with PayPal? Is that something they're familiar with, or maybe not? So there's a lot of factors from your client, your business, the type of account that you have, and what you're paying. It's an easy way to get started. I think it's an easy way for people to get started because a lot of times there's no fees involved with it outside of the transaction fees themselves. So it's an easy way to get set up and get going. And then you can add in an authorized.net account if you need to have more flexible options than what PayPal might offer. Okay. Rosemary says, also asks, if a client pays in full and you give a 10% discount, do you just list that amount next to where it says pay in full? Yeah, so for example, let's go back to that shopping cart. So here we have our Jumpstart coaching package, pay in full with 10% savings. And the price listed it reflects the 10% savings. Or we have our Jumpstart coaching package, the installment option, 3 installments of $600 each. Right, so you would just create 2 different products, and in the name of the product, so let me just click on this, in the product name, you would simply say the name of your package or product, and then pay in full with 10% savings, so they know that they've received that discount. Okay. Mary says, we're going to get 2 more, and then we're going to have to wrap it up. Mary says, I just want to double check that the client is to call in and not the coach call them. Mary, you can set that up however you want. Here's what drives that, Mary. I want you to pay attention to this. When you are on the dashboard, click on the dashboard, click under My Account. You'll see My Account here in the upper right. You see that, Mary? Under My Account, under Notification Templates, you've got several notifications that are sent from your console system on a regular basis, one of which is the appointment reminder. If you want the clients to call you, inside that, you'll see the default appointment reminder. Now, I've been playing with this one, so it's going to look a little different than your default one, but you're going to see like phone number, or you could type in number to call at the time of your session, and then you can put in the replacement tag for that particular you'll see a whole list of replacement tags. So here's the phone number that they are supposed to call at the time of their appointment, and you insert that appointment so that when they get the reminder, they see this text number to call in, and then it will display the phone number they're supposed to call. So if you want the clients to call you, that's how you do that. If you could call them if that's your preference. My preference is that they call me. I want them to call me. Some coaches, they make the phone calls. So you could just simply say at the time of your session, and then instead of a replacement tag, you could say your coach will contact you at, and you could enter there. I don't know. Can you do that? You can't do that. Oh yeah, you can. Mobile phone. You can enter their phone number, or you can just say we'll call you, or you might say we'll Skype you. Like however you do your sessions. So you can edit your appointment reminder to be whatever process you want. Okay. The default is set up so that they call you. The client calls you. Makes sense, Mary? Okay. Okay, let's see a couple more. There's a few more questions. I'm going to answer them really quickly. If I overlooked them, I know we've got to go. We're after the top of the hour. You got to hop off. I'm going to go through these last few from Kari, Liz, Fran, and Elizabeth. If I overlooked them, head to the Facebook group, post your question there. Kari asked a question. If we change something in Coach's Console, can we find the original template that you guys originally had for future reference? You can't find it, but you can ask for it. Just head to the support center and say, hey, I want the default form XYZ, whatever form you're looking for that you deleted, and they'll get it back for you. Okay, so just head to the support center and they'll get that back for you. Liz, I did see your emails, and you should have received a response. I'll go back in there and make sure that that was actually sent out. So I'll get that to you. Fran, regarding the mobile app. So we're talking about the mobile app. I want to let users know what's different. No more app, just open mobile version, and have to save the home page on their phone. Yeah. So with the version 3, it's a different. They go to the to your URL, to your login URL, and they need to set that up new on their smartphone, their tablet, whatever device they're using to access that. Okay, so you just need to make sure that they have your URL to your private client portal, and that they save that URL on their homepage on their iPhone or tablet. Yeah, just shoot them a quick email. Or a lot of times when you're in the session with somebody at the very tail end of a session, or in a client log post, you can say something like, I'm updating my platform to make it easier for you to access everything on your mobile device. Here's the step you need to take. Here's my URL. Make sure you save this on your home screen. Okay. And then Elizabeth, your question was, currently I send PayPal invoices, so clients do not need to have a PayPal account. Can I still use the billing section of Coach's Console to do this? You sure can. Under billing, you can, under settings, you can add in whatever your PayPal email address here is, and that's going to connect your console system and your PayPal. And then when you set up your agreements, you can set up automated invoices, or you can just create one-off invoices and send those. You could just, add miscellaneous coaching sessions, whatever it is, you can type it in, whatever that monthly rate is, if you have one, or however they're paying. And you can add that line item to your invoice. And then you can choose, okay, Fred and George and Helen are getting this invoice. And you can generate your draft invoices and you can send them. And then they can choose to log into your private client portal and pay those invoices right from your Coach's Console website from when they log in. Okay, so it's super easy for you to do. And then everything is in your console system. All right, everybody, I think I got through all the sessions. If I didn't, head over to the Facebook group or head to the support center. Just click that question mark if you're in version 3, or click customer support from your dashboard. And we'll see you back here next week for another great topic. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.